So folks, what you've got to do before you start painting is have something nutritional and health-ridden like this. This is a pomelo, or we call it, I don't know what you call it now in Australia. But anyhow, they're quite nice and they're full of vitamins. And so if I've got a bit of a sparkle in my eye, it's because of this, all right? Now, if I look a little bit red, it's because I was in the sun yesterday in the swimming pool and I forgot to wear my hat. So the result of that is that we have the lobster today. So there you go. In the meantime, the workshops. Now, I'll tell you what we're up to in that one. I was just talking to Roseanne, and good morning Roseanne, and good morning Rita. Watertown in Wisconsin, we still have 5 spots left there, so 5 vacant easels, ready to be filled by impassioned and by driven and by people who aspire to greatness in painting. If that's you, or you want just a little helping hand from Bob, then go to Wisconsin, Watertown. It's a lovely little town, about 35,000 people. We've got a main street. I've had a good look at it. Lovely little restaurants and interest shops. But it's a typical rural town and it would be a great place to do a workshop. So there you go. So in Watertown, Wisconsin. So if you live in, say, Chicago or Minnesota, anywhere nearby in the adjoining states, then why not pop over and join me in the workshop or the other lovely people. Florence in Colorado, we've got 1 spot left there, so that's really, really powered up, the one in Colorado. I'm really happy about that because that's sort of my second home, Colorado. So I look forward to meeting the people there. And I know I haven't been to Florence yet, but I look forward to, it'll be like any other great Colorado town, sort of buried in between the glorious, I know that. Get my glasses on. Any good. Left in Orofino. Idaho, all the way over there, from Watertown straight across country to Orofino. It'll take about 2 days. And when I get there, I'll book into a nice little place and I look forward to hooking up with all the good people there. So Orofino, 2. Not too many. Florida, Naples, we're full there. So Florida is to the brim, no more vacancies there, no more easels left. So, so if you've missed out on that one, maybe O'Donoghue in Georgia, in the first workshop there, during the week workshop, starting on the 26th, going through the 28th, we've got 5 spots left there. On the weekend one, starting on 29, going through to 1 October, we have just 1 spot. So if you've got nothing to do in that during the weekdays there, then sign up on the first one, all right? Starting on the 26th of September. North Carolina, Asheville, I think we're full there. I think we're full there. I must check that with Roseanne. She'll tell me anyhow. But I think we're pretty close to it. There might be a couple of spots there. Williamstown, New Jersey. Now here's the last one. That's the last workshop I'll be doing. And we've got 4 spots left there. So if you're anywhere near New Jersey or the adjoining states in New England, then pop down to Williamstown and enjoy a workshop with yours truly, who will be powering along, soaring to great heights with eagles, not running around with the turkeys, all right? So there you go. Now, so what are we going to do today? Folks, listen. What I've been doing in the last week is getting myself ready to do these workshops. And that just doesn't mean just thinking about them, it means doing something. Right? The actual preparation means physical preparation. Thinking my way through what do you want to hear? What do you expect to get from me? What do you expect to walk away from the workshop with? What knowledge that I think you might want to get from me based on my previous experiences with groups of people? All right? So there's information that you want. So I need to get myself information topped up. And that's what I'm doing. So a lot of the questions that you will ask me, I would have thought about and should have good answers for you. I won't be stumbling and grabbing for concepts and for rationales. I have them at my fingertips for you. So today, one of the things I've been doing is doing a number of paintings in preparation for the workshops. In other words, I will come along there and I'll have a number of paintings already done. Right? And if the persuasion of the group is towards a romantic direction, I'll bring out some romantic paintings that I've already done that we can look at and talk about in terms of how we manage that type of painting in the context where the workshop is. If it's in Wisconsin, at Watertown, for example, then we'll explore and let's say the persuasion of the group is for romantic paintings, right? Then we can explore that romantic angle by walking out of our area into the zone where that sort of thing takes place, a park or a little walkway through the trees, something like that, something where there's human activity to do with a romantic theme. Two people sitting on a park bench, some children playing ball, a boy and a girl just exchanging words with their school bags at their feet. Anything that provokes that sort of human contact and embellishes the exchange between our own people. Anything that reminds us of things that we experienced as children. They're the sort of touching things that make that type of painting jump from the wall. And so I'm going to do now, one of the great connecting points with people in painting is mood. In other words, we try to solicit some sort of emotional response from people. And we can do that in many ways. And that's one of the things we need to explore in a workshop. How do we connect with people? What are the connecting devices that we can use to prompt some sort of emotional response? Once you get an emotional response, then you're attaching yourself through your painting to that person. And that's really important in painting. People don't buy a painting without having some emotional connection to it. So we need to develop those emotional threads in a painting. All right, so that's what we'll do. So I'm going to do one now, and we've done this one before, but I'm going to start this one of the horses galloping across water again. I was going to do a romantic one, but I just changed my mind at that last moment. There you go. So, here we go. So how's that sound? Does that sound all right, Sarah? Yes. The sound is all right, I've been told. So, here we go. Let me put in, first of all, let me go for my pastry brush. There we are. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm going to just put in a bit of a sky here. I'll get my glasses on. Where are they? My new glasses. I've got two pairs of glasses now. Dr. Roy in Bangkok made let's call them my superior glasses, and I keep them in a case over there. When I get really serious, I put those on. But while I'm at the easel, where there can be spray paint and turpentine and so forth, I'll just wear these. But these are pretty good too. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to put in a little bit of a sky first. And you tell me, if you've got any questions, just jump on and ask me your questions, all right? Here's the photograph. I'll have this one copied. The paintings I'll bring with me, I will have all the photographs relevant to those paintings. If you decide, or if we decide together to do one of those paintings, then we can just simply print those photographs off and you'll all have them with you. The other thing I want to do is leave you with ongoing material. In other words, it's no good me just intersecting in your life for 3 days and winding you up and letting you spin and off you go like a spinning top out of control. I want you to have some meaning, some ongoing connection in terms of what you've learnt and how you can progress from that type workshop. So I would like to leave you with material and direction and information that you can continue with. And I'd like to see the results of that, actually. It'll certainly spin my wheels. So let's just do a little bit of a sky here. As you can see, I'm just throwing a bit of paint around. We've got a little bit of a cool paint against warm paint. Well, that works, doesn't it? And we're quite thin with our mix. But even just that, showing a little bit of warm in here against the cool, that works. Let's develop that a little bit more. I'll throw a little bit more so it's not just focused in the middle there. Let's put a bit over here. Just push it through that colour. That's all we need. There's a couple. Always vary the angle of attacking with your brush, right? Never just become the pedestrian, one direction stroke artist, because that doesn't excite people. The eye is excited by angles, by shifts in colour, by shifts in tone. They excite the eye, and that's what you need to do in painting. So I've got something in there. Now I'm going to throw a little bit of a, let's say a cloud or something in there. Just a bit of a highlight. Just see if I can throw one in. You see a little bit one there. It's not very big, but it'll do. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to put some trees behind in that. So we're going to go to our light red. Have I got any here? Oh, well, not really. There's one colour. So I've got a warm colour. I'm going to change my approach with you today. I'm going to do warm and cool. Now notice how I'm using that brush. I'm going to build up the idea of trees behind here, but I want to put some distance. I'll put this blue in here, just a sense of distance. Now I'm going to come forward. I'm going to switch brushes to a fan brush. Voila, this is the one that's made that I'm making for myself, and I'll have these with me. And it's been made by a company especially for me. That's a good brush. Good hair, good spread, holds its form nicely, and it holds the paint very well too. So there, that's what we want. Now, okay, I'm going to put in a bit of a tree here now, so I'm going to be a bit more careful. Not too careful though. A bit of a dark. And I'll say hello to people in a moment. There we go. Now we're getting there. Now we're getting there. See that these broken, how we can use this brush in many different ways. I mean, you want air coming through those trees, and this brush is good for that. It can also hold a good amount of paint, so I can flick it down there and create the body of vegetation. But I've also got that nice broken look about it. I'll bring you over and have a look at that in a moment. A few more in here and over we go. Of course, over this side it doesn't really matter too much as long as we're just building our way towards something that we want to use in the painting in a more important sense. But see, the action of that brush is quite good. That nice little broken foliage. And I'm going to come back down. Pardon my head. I'm going to create a nice dark in here, because we're going to have the cowboys coming across here, and the darker we have the background, the better it's going to be. It's going to really make those cowboys pop out. And that's what we want. We don't want to be sort of trying to find them. We want to see them quite clearly. And we want to see them bouncing along and charging through the water and a whole spray of water, all that. We want to see all the things that make up and tell us action. So over I go. I'll take a bit of that up into there, just add some more dark into that sky, into the trees at least. parts of it are going to be light, and some are sitting there, some are not sitting there, some are sort of receiving light, some are not receiving light. But anyhow, there we go. So far, so good. We've got no highlights. We'll do that later. One of the things we could do in these paints, remember, is to get the setting in. Right? Don't go too far with it. Don't start dabbing and working away and pushing it too far into a landscape yet. That comes after you put the main player in, the narrative, the anchor for the narrative, which is stampeding horses and cowboys in this one. So they've got to go in early up. Once we get the basic bones of the setting in, then we put in the main narrative, and we go from there. So we're doing bones of the setting here. And there's my reference, which I'll clean up. That's about 20 years old, that particular. So I'm going to come down now, a little bit more warmth in here now. Coming forward. And the more variation we've got like this, the better. Little bits of brown up in that green now. Push it up into there. There we go. Well done, young Robert. Slaving away. Now, let's do some... I'm going to go back to my pastry brush. Here we go. And I'm going to put in some of this. There's reeds and dead grass behind here, long strands of water growth behind there. So I'm going to sort of put that in. See that? What happened? That, folks, is now a reed brush. And what's the difference between a reed brush and a fan brush? Here is a fan brush. It looks sort of the same effect, doesn't it? But when you turn it side on, one is a clear knife, the other one has got sprayed hairs, very random. And I like that, because in painting, one of the things we try to achieve is a look of spontaneity, the look of randomness, right? Different angles crossing over, different shapes meshing with each other. They stimulate the eye. They attract you to the eye, to the painting, right? Things like that, random things. So I'm going to try to create a random look now. Here we go. So Robert's going to do a random look. There he goes. Getting close to it. Look at the stroke. I'm firing it up into the other part. And that's yellow ochre. And a little bit of burnt sienna. But look at the colour. Look at this beautiful contrast now I'm getting. Now this is what we're going to do in the workshops, folks. And we'll do it step by step by step. And we'll talk about each step. Where it comes from, how we shape, what our technique is. What's the actual action of the brush? How do we shape the brush? How do we load the brush? When I load the brush, I'm doing this. I'm looking at it. I'm seeing where the paint's deposited. I've got it in my head. So I go over and I go like that. Now you come in, I'm going to bring you over here. Now I'm going to just do a little bit more, and I'm going to bring you off your little perch and take you for a little bit of a walk. Let me just finish this first before I do your walk. Keep on going. And you think, he's not looking at it. I am looking at it. I wouldn't tell you something if I wasn't doing it. Right, now I'm going to bring you over. Now I want you to look at something here. Here we go, off your little perch. A little one-haired brush, you still couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. You won't get that particular, you've got two lines up there with little things coming off there, you've got a clump at the top. Now that is an expression, a true expression of nature. Those things happen. Just look across here now. Look at the fan brush here and how that looks. Now that's a bit clunky, but we can come back into that later when we do our little highlights on there, and we'll reshape that. Right. Look at the blue behind there, how that gives us our aerial perspective. We've got distance in the painting. Remember, we're painting on a flat surface, and the trick in painting is to create the illusion of distance. The illusion of distance. And that comes by using colour. The further away it gets, the more blue it becomes, and the reds and yellows and oranges drop away. But we do find them forward. So as we come forward, we're going into our reds and our browns. We come down to here. So this is in fact the reality as we see it. So we've already created the illusion of distance on a flat surface. But one of the secrets to making this all work, folks, is to squint one eye. Walk back and you squint one eye. And then it all becomes magic. So, now for an injection of vitamin C. Here we go. Oh, very nice. Boom. Back to painting. So, here's the painting. So I'm sitting up and around here so far. I'm going to create this part down here now. So I'm just going to, because we've got splashing water here, we don't need to be too fussy about what happens here. We just need to put in some colour. So I'll just run this reed area down. What's important is that how it intersects with the previous area. So I'm just going to fill this in, block it in with just a little bit of a, whatever it is. I'll throw a little bit of blue into that brown, create a little bit more colour and tone. There we go, that looks better. And over here, we're going to, all this is going to have a big clump of grass in here. So we can go down to the water now, I think. And in the water I'll just put in a little bit of blue, because I'm taking the lead off that down here. We can see in this area here the blue. So we use the photograph as our prime reference point, secondary reference point. The prime reference point is what you saw when you were there. And I was stood there and I took this photograph and I remember that. I remember everything I do. There you go. You say, I don't believe that, Robert, but it's true. But everything I need to remember, that is. There are certain things I don't want to remember, but we don't talk about that. Yep. Dispense with that very quickly. And off we go here. And we're looking pretty good. We've got a funny looking blue there that looks more like a violet to me. It is a violet. Ah. Now that's a good sign. If you see a brush fall out of your hand, it's a good sign that you're holding it correctly. If it doesn't fall out of your hand, you're not holding it correctly. There we go. There we go. Now we're back. More of this, it should be like that colour because that's the colour of the sky, and just a repetition of that. One value down, however. And we're just going to intersect this, just fluff it across there. Well, you keep this violet down here. It's not really right, but we'll fix it up later on. We'll make it work. We'll make it all work, won't we? There we go. And I'm going to put this a little bit over here, showing these reeds and so forth here. In we go. We need more, a bit of brown in there. And the horses are going to come powering across here. I'll just add a little bit, take some of this brown, run it into the water while we've got it now. Because it's all got to be one part's got to echo another part. We've got to tie it all together, folks. Everything's got to be tied together in one unified, glorious event called a painting. There we go. Now I'll see who's with us, and we'll let that dry a little bit, then we'll come back and we'll put the players in there, the two cowboys, the three cowboys, and we'll power on from there. So let me see who's with us. And Another whack of vitamin C. There you go. So yes, the workshops will be power-packed, folks. Absolutely power-packed. You will get 150% from me. You're not going to get 50%, you get 150%. And I'll talk about anything you want to talk about. If you're an artist who's just starting out and you want to know the best way to start and to keep control so you don't spear off the rails, I can tell you that. Limited palette, few brushes. Della Cook, hi from Santa Barbara, and Santa Barbara, what a great place, Della. Pity we couldn't get a workshop there. We will next time, though. We will next. Cynthia Herbert, hi Robert from southeast Pennsylvania. Well, now that's the place I want to get into, the Appalachians. Hi Bob from Sharon in Brisbane. Sharon Art, good on you Sharon. Thanks for joining me. Diane Lange, I'd love to learn to paint the one with misty water and the mountain on one side with a man and woman looking out over the water. Which one? A misty water and a mountain on one side with a man and a woman looking out over the water. Yeah, we could do one of those. That shouldn't be too hard to do with just a mountain and water and a man and a woman. Moody. Romantic. Gee, rings a bell. Jeannie Blankenship, hello Robert and the whole gang. There you go, the whole gang. And Sharon, I'd love to paint. Well, hi Robert, I hope to sell the paintbrush set soon. I can't get a pastry brush to work. I'll show you I'll get my kit. Here is the brush kit, right? That's what I'm having made now. And it's got all the brushes in it I use. Some of them I don't use much, like this one here is a flat brush. I don't really use that much, but I do when I want to do clunks on a painting. But here's my two major weapons. The liner brush, which I'll be using in a moment. There's my fan brush. There's a pastry brush. All right? So they're the main weapons. That's my arsenal. So I can go to any country with that, a couple of tubes of paint, and a bit of imagination and a camera, and bingo, I'm up and running as fast as possible. Julia Norton-Stevens, hi Robert. Hi Julia. Vanita Harper, hi Robert. What colours we use in the sky? I use yellow ochre. Vanetta, I use yellow ochre. The blue is I think there's a little bit of phthalo in there. Either phthalo or Prussian blue. Because it's a little bit of an exciting blue. It's not the cobalt blue, which I normally use. But it's a lovely blue, I've got to say that. It sits well against with the yellow ochre. So that's a pretty good combination, Vanetta. Yeah. Rachel Manuel, hello. And Linda Davis Parkinson, hello from Memphis. Well, there we go. Memphis is a good spot too. I haven't been there. But there we are. So let's go on. And anyone else out there who wants to say hi, then go ahead, by all means. Right, so we'll speed ahead. And that might have gone off a little bit, so I can just start to do something with the cowboys now. And looking at it, I need to just power up this, take that grass a bit more now. I just stood back and looked at it, and I need to give it a little bit more shape and a little bit more excitement to that grass. So I'm going to push that brush again. There we go. I'm going to come back in, get some white paint. This will be a pretty sloppy mix. And some yellow ochre. Come on, yellow ochre. Excuse my hat and my head, but here we are. Everyone's a winner. So here we go. I'll go lighter. I'll take you down. I'm going to take you off here. I'm going to show you what I'm doing down here. Now, you look at this. Can you hold that for me, please? Just like that. There's the lens at the front there. So bring it down here. And this is what I'm doing. Over there, Look at the brush now. All right, it looks like it's just a whole lot of rubbish on it. But that's what I'm doing, just picking my way through. Then I look at that. You need to look at it carefully and see how it's loaded. All right? There's bits of yellow ochre there, there's white, there's clumps, there's hairs matted together. It's a total mess. But from that mess, we're going to get a good look. So, come over here and come right beside me there. Now, here we go. So I'm looking at how that's loaded, okay? And I want to get the look of this grass behind there, but I don't want it to be the final look. This is a building process. So here I go. What's it going to be? That stroke? No, it's not. It's got to be the stroke in which nature expresses itself. So it's going to be that, and that, that, and that. It's going to be sort of weaving up and down, a sawtooth type stroke. Down I go again. Come down. Now, here we go. There, I'm down here, right down with the paint. I'm in the paint itself almost. And there I go, from there to there, one to the other. Back I come again. What's he got this time? Yep, that's going to work. Young Robert, that will work. Well, let's see it work over. And we're going to part here and try and get this one up to speed. Here we go. Pushing it one way, down, across. I want to get those few hairs breaking through the dark there. Then when it comes down here, it mats up more. Okay, let's do it over here now. Back we go. Take the brush, push it again. Now look at it. Okay, over we go again. Down his head goes. And he's looking at the loading of the brush. All right, see how I'm doing that? I'm right at the point where the brush and the hairs are. So I'm loading this. I've got an itchy nose, don't panic about that. And I'm loading the brush again. Here he goes. Now look at the load. Okay. This is the pastry brush. This is the Robert Hagen Genius We Will Paint Anything pastry brush. Here he goes. So we've got this dark in here. We want some spikes up through there. There's a good one. That was good. That's all looking good. Look at that. Now let's go. Again, push it a bit harder. Stop, start. Right. There you go. And that's enough for now. Let me take one other thing and let's look at those backward trees and see if we can get a little bit of light on that. So I'm going to go for this brush now, back to this fan brush. And let's see if we can get a little bit of green. So yellow ochre, a little bit of cobalt blue, yellow ochre. Have a little bit of a mix down here first. We've got a little bit of green on there, all right? Not a real light green, it's just a little bit of a green. Let's see if we can put something up in here. A little bit, just a little bit more. You don't need to do it too much, remember. I'll get a bit of cerulean blue there. Put that in there. That's a different green. Let's try that in here. Oh, that's nice. We've got two greens firing off each other there now. There you go. So you've seen a technique there. And what we will do, we'll develop these, thanks Ronnie, we'll develop these techniques in the workshop so that when I do one of these, the thing you can't see when we do these live stream is exactly what you saw then. You don't actually see how I load the brush. You don't actually see how I impart the paint to the canvas. You don't actually see how that brush stroke's being pushed or directed or pulled or manoeuvred. This is the technique. This is the core of the technique. And you know yourself that there are so many ways you can mess up a stroke by having the wrong pressure, by having the wrong angle, by using it too early over a recent lay of paint. You know there's so many ways it can go wrong. What I want to do is show you how many ways it can go right and what that right technique is so that you can practice that and you can sophisticate that and then you can employ that and engage that in your painting to have a good outcome. And that's the essence of a technique. A technique is not an accidental event. A technique is a very deliberate, very highly engineered movement. It's also locked into how you load the paint on the brush, the consistency of the paint, the angles in which you insert the hairs in the paint, how you drag it back out, how you then maybe twist it a little bit, how you go from one pot of paint to another pot of paint. So you've got multiple paint lobs on your one brush, ready to be applied to the tooth of the canvas. So you've got a number of things here which need to be put together to have a good outcome. How you put them together, the actual process of engineering the engagement is your technique. So a workshop is not simply about watching me do something. It's about me explaining and showing you exactly what I'm doing. Because you're going to workshop to learn to see how I do things. Because I, for some reason or other, being self-taught, I've stumbled across a number of ways of doing, of painting, a number of techniques which seem to be unique to me. I haven't seen many other artists using a pastry brush. I started off, I'm not a chef, but I started using a pastry brush because that's what I had. If I'd have had another sort of brush, I actually tried a toilet brush once to see if that would give me a good grass look, and it did. I've tried a shaving brush, a toothbrush. I've tried every brush there is. Somehow or other, I find that the pastry brush has got the capability of being able to be shaped, being able to be changed. It has a spring in the hairs. It seems it can be reshaped back into its original its original configuration. So it all works if it's done in a method that has sense, meaning, and proper engineering. Now, proper engineering involves knowing what you're doing, right? So I've just got another gentleman into the room. His name's Paul, and Paul's from Australia. Although he's an implant, I've got to say that. He's originally from the old Dart, England, and so, but he's welcome in Australia because we welcome all implants. Would you come over here, please, Paul, and say hello? Come over here and say hello to the ladies out there. Come over here. No, you'll come here, come here. It's up there, up to your dogs. Now come around here. Say hello to everyone. A little bit early. This is Paul, and Paul has been known Paul for 15 years?
Oh, at least 15 years.
It's been
it seems like generations.
It does. It's been a very bumpy relationship.
Yes.
No, we've He's been a very close friend of mine for a long time, and I thoroughly enjoy our conversations.
And so do I.
Yeah.
I look forward to being insulted constantly.
See,
but we have things in common, Bob.
what are they?
Things in common.
Tell me one.
Well, one is our love of Australia and its institutions. That's one.
Oh, ouch! Did I? The love of Australia went down. I got that one, but then the institution. What institution in particular are you talking about?
Particularly the
Political situation.
Yeah. As regards the federal government and the state. It's absolutely wonderful. It's like being in some mad show, you know, some mad comedy.
It is, isn't it?
It's just hopeless.
It
really.
is. Do you think there's any?
They're all trying their hardest, and they are trying their hardest.
Are they making headway? Is there any improvement in the country in the last 10 years? No. So there we are, folks. We've got.
I'm sure this man will know.
We have another Australian here who he would also voice some opinion about that. And I tell you what, I don't disagree with what Paul says there. I've got friends from Australia who were in the political arena.
You don't have any friends.
That's true. I don't have any friends.
People.
No, yeah, I have no friends at all. Actually, I don't want any friends. I've given up.
Fuck friends. I hate them.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that.
It's annoying. That.
They are.
Annoying. They expect things. Once you're a friend, they expect you to do things. Because he's my friend. He'll do.
He'll do that. Yeah. The presumption is in there. It's built friendship.
I just want to go back to the politics.
Right.
You know who I miss?
Who?
The lady that was born in South Wales, Julia Gillard. I was in love with her. I used to watch her on the television, and when she had a...
We've got one sick cat here. One sick cat.
She used to come on the television. Oh, Julie, she's here. She's here at last.
Well, you had sort of a passion, a distant love affair with her in a way. You?
Oh, I did, yes. What do they call it now? A virtual love affair.
Oh, a virtual love affair. Did you ever blow a kiss towards her or anything like that through the TV?
Blow a kiss? Blow a kiss? That's nothing to what went on in private, I can tell you.
Right, Paul's now going to leave the room.
Yeah.
Right? Don't take the seat number 5 at the back.
What is this? I don't even know what this
We're
is.
doing a live stream of painting to hundreds of people out there.
Really?
Yeah, also in England. So you better now take it all back. Apologise.
Sorry.
So he's apologising now, folks. So, official apology, Paul, and it's been noted in the book of records, and he'll be embarrassed in this way. You'll never see him again. Never ever see him again.
It's disgrace.
Yeah, absolute disgrace.
All right, Bob, I'll leave you to it. As you realise, I'm here to see Ivan, but I think I'm a little early.
What, he's not here yet?
No, he's not here.
Well, take a seat. There's a reclining area down there. There's a bed in the other room.
Do you mind if I went to sleep?
You could go to sleep and you'll join the rest of the other.
Don't take that as a comment on the
There it is. See, already I've been spun out of control. Now, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to now put these horses in. So let's see, how long have we got to go? We've got a bit of time, I think. Why don't I find a brush here? Here, no, that's not the brush I want. Where do I put the brush? Well, let's go for a new brush, folks. Here we go. Here's one of the new brushes. And I'm going to start to just put in, let's clear a spot here. So we've got one horse up here, the main horse. We're going to make him pretty big. So he's going to pop in there somewhere. In there. Let's put him in. See how I do that. Well, I'm going to go to a nice dark. First of all, I'll get this brush working. So I'm going to just needle those hairs a little bit. Push them around like that. So they're all nice and ready to roll. And so we've got those there like that. That looks pretty good. Now, if I just load, I'm going to go for dark, straight off the bat. There's a term that Paul would find interesting off the bat. And so I'm going to just mark this horse in. Start off, where's his backside? It's over there somewhere. How big am I going to make it? I'll make the top of I'm going to make the hat. I'll make him quite big actually, I think. So there's the hat. Then come down to the cowboy shoulders. I'll let him find the own size. I want it to be fairly dominant. So I will just put in, I'll go for my magnifier in a moment because we're not going to be guessing, folks. This is a no guess zone. Remember that. No guessing whatsoever. So we'll get Ronnie to hold that. There you go, Ronnie. Bring it over. And let's have a look at what I'm mixing down here. So what I've got here, I've got some light red. And I'll put that out. Let's put it just there somewhere. You can see this is very well organised. And I'm going to get a little bit of phthalo blue. And put that down there somewhere, beside it, if I can get it off there. I'll come somehow or other. There you go. And I'll mix the two together. That's going to give me real dark. So there, and up I come here. So I'm looking at where his shoulder is here. And I'm going to try and get this side. This has got to be pretty big. His other shoulder, and down it comes. I can't see in there. So what's he going to do? Just wait there for one moment. Hold that camera where it is. I'm going to get something which will excite you like crazy. And here I'm coming back with it. Don't run away, you people. Here we go. What is it? It's called the Robert Hagan Easy Art Magnifier. It's a no-brainer. Any self-respecting artist will have one of these in their pocket. Top pocket, back pocket, side pocket. Your wife will also have one, and your children will have one for birthdays and Christmas. You must have one. Otherwise, your career is in tatters. Here we go. So I'm going to look through here to see where's that going. And what's happening, he's got a slicker on there. There's his arm coming out. Back down here for a mix. So I'm into the phthalo. Back over to the light red. There it is there. And a little mixing spot. And I'm going to slide that brush. See the stroke I've got? And down it comes. And it'll go back to the back of the slicker. And then with the horse is back in here. And I'm just going to darken all that area. Just want to get the outside shape of this first. There's a horse's ears about there. Coming back up. It's about there. So I'm going to get that. That'll tell me where the neck is. It's a bit higher than what I had. So over we go with the horse's head. His second ear there. He's got two ears, unbelievably so. Our horse. And I'm going to come back again to our mix, light red. And would normally be cobalt blue, but like Roseanne, I think it was, the other day, said, Robert, the blue you're using doesn't seem to have much power to it. It didn't. And that's why I've got some phthalo blue there, because this blue is really what I'm using here is just a hue. It's a broken down, it's not a very strong one, I've got to tell you that. And we can't paint with, you must have the right equipment. Like even what I'm doing here, without the magnifier, I'd be struggling to find out where this is going. But I'm not struggling now. This is in a non-struggles area again. And so there's our cowboy ready to find his way up the bank. Let's put his face in there a little bit. Just a little bit of a brown. I'll tap in here. So we can just see that. Now his hat. Let's see if I can put his hat in there. It goes around the back like that. He's got a collar there, and his back of the head, and hat goes up. And like that. I'm basically just colouring in, folks. That's all we did. All we do in this, and there's the other side of it. Now, but I'll just get a little bit of brown and put under in here. Fill this in. So there's our, another cowboy comes out there like that. There's our back, there. Yep, just checking it all. And we're right. Okay, let's come to the other cowboy. He's sitting over... Well, I'll just fill this in first down here, in anticipation of where this goes. Now, let's do the second one. And I'm going to do the same thing. Just get any dark and drop him in here. Horse's head is there. This one is largely engulfed by all the water splashing. So it's going to be quite easy for us to do this one. This is really an exercise in how to paint water, folks, isn't it? And a little bit of where he is. Arm out there holding the horse. Then the hat. We can see that one's coming out. We've got another one over here with a yellow slicker on. But we've got all this splashing water up in here. So, I'm going to do... What do I do next? I'll keep on... Like if we said, well, Robert, we'd like to do an action one. I said, well, what action one would you like to do then? Well, can we do a horse one? Yeah, okay, and we can get the photographs out. I mean, if we had horses around us, we could go and get them to stampede and do what we want them to do. But if we don't have that, or even if it's raining or something and we can't go outdoors, I'll make sure we've got a wealth of material to work with, all right? A little bit more now as you're looking at that. And so the whole idea is to make sure that what we do in the workshop is what you want to happen. Now let me just add a little bit of a highlight here so you can see where this is going. Let's come back to this horse here. And I'm going to just try and get some highlights in there that'll shape up. Let's go in here, for example, on the lapel. And the other arm coming out here. Horse. Nose. The ear. Top of his head. And how do you come like that? And down here. The back, and we're going to have that. So let's throw a little bit of shadow in there now for the horse. This is anticipating the splashing water now. And we've got the light coming from this side, so we're going to have a strong shadow here. So I'll go over to my phthalo blue and a dark, and I'm going to drop that in there like that. And there'll be one over behind this horse. So we're just settling them in. How this is going to engage is another matter. Because we've got reflections coming down here as well. So we might as well just anticipate that. And the splashing water is going to be surging up here and flying across here, same here, down here, and the third one, the same type of thing. So I'll just anticipate that by showing you, and then we're going to close off because we're getting into the weekend. So let me watch, just have a look at this now. Now we're going to use this as a splashing water brush. There it is. Splashing water. Back down again, it's very wet. But I just want you to see how it happens. Back down again. I'm just going to do it quickly for you. Now you can see now how that paint is going to come out. You can see I've got the elements in there. I've just got to keep on moving along, pushing the darks and lightening the lights until I get it all working together. But I've already got the message in the painting already in place. There's no guessing about what's going to happen now. I've got to bring the figures out more, and then I'll start integrating the figures with the setting. And that's the secret. One of the important things here is not to advance the setting too far. You get it to a point, then you quickly jump into the narrative. And once you've got the narrative in place, then you can move them both together at the same pace. So you've got your setting here, you've got your narrative, you put them together, and then you work them both up at the same pace. So you lighten your lights and you darken your darks at the same time. And you're calibrating one into the other. No highlight out here should challenge the main driving highlights too much. The main driving highlights is what makes the painting work at the end. And this is again a process of applying technique and having management of the technique. We need to manage what we're doing, not just execute, but manage the execution. Okay? So, there we go. So I'm going to say goodbye to all my dog friends that are laying on the floor. I'll say goodbye to Paul over there, who's visiting from downtown Melbourne. And Paul's an implant into Australia. He's been re-educated, and he's admiring the political system that we have in Australia. He says it's wonderful. It's perhaps a showcase of all political systems he's ever experienced. And that's his words, but I'm just sort of shaping them so that it brings him into the general fold of now he's trying to say something now. We're going to muffle that. Bang, gunshot. And there we go. But listen, I'll see you all again, and Ronnie's holding the camera, and he's from Melbourne as well. And so there you are. And Ron and I had a glass of wine yesterday at a vineyard, of all places, and it was quite a nice one too. Might I say that the grapes came from Australia. There we are, from the Barossa Valley. And Paul is now he's nodding his head in approval of the wine of Australia. So there we are. So I'm going to see you all on next Tuesday or the next stream. In the meantime, you enjoy your weekend, enjoy your loved ones, look after your dogs. Bye. Look after your dogs.